Welcome to my designer class. My name is Mercy and I am an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator. In today's tutorial, I will be creating rainbows from using dies, and I will be creating this card using the stamp set Magical Day. So I will show you what inspired me was in the Occasions catalog. They had this beautiful set, well, let me get to the right spot, Sunshine and Rainbows. And I was very tempted by it, but I didn't really want to spend the money, and so I decided to make my own rainbow using dies that I already had. So without further ado, I will show you how I made these cute little rainbows using cardstock and my circle dies. Let me get the big shot, which is very big and cumbersome. So what I did was, with these dies, I did it in 2 batches, and that is very important for 2 reasons. One is, well, actually the most important is you actually need them all. And I'm using the larger set of the nesting. So what I did here to save time is I used 2 dies at the same time. And I think this was effective to make sure that I got the maximum use out of the dies and save the most amount of time. And you can do this in batches, and it really can save you if you do like a bunch at the same time. Like I did like once 6, created 6 of each of these, and then I assembled them, and that saves some time. Oh, I didn't quite get that centered. So the cardstock, you just want a square that's big enough to accommodate your circle. And I used Rose Red, Daffodil Delight, Lemon Lime Twist, and Marina Mist for my cards. Now, 2 of those colors, the Rose Red and the Marina Mist, are actually retiring. But really any color of sort of the rainbow color look would work. Okay, so I will run this through. And one really important thing is you really center both circles so you have the right amount of, well, I'll show you in a second. So I will just pull this and show you real quick what I mean. Is when you're done with it, you want, this is the part we're going to actually use. You want an equal distance here as much as possible. And I will use this for another project, the circle. Set that aside. But what we're going to definitely be using will be these. All right, so there I have 2. Now I'll do the other ones, the other colors. And to step down, I want to use the color, the smaller size, which would be the inner part here, so that it steps down the rainbow. And of course, this one I also need to use for the yellow. And I got to line this up. This is the tricky part, if you will. None of it's too hard, but if you get the circle off, it won't quite fit properly. So that would not be good. Now with this one, I did not have a small enough circle, so I used a punch, and I just kind of guessed where the center is, and that's a 3/4 inch punch. And then I just centered it here. The step down is approximately a 1/2 inch. I don't know if you can see that per increment, although the 3/4 isn't quite that. So if a 1 inch would actually be probably the perfect amount. But again, use what you have on hand, and it turns out pretty well. And actually I kind of like the blue one a little bit bigger because it is the smallest one. Okay, so this is very long with the extended platform. I will set this aside, and I will show you the next part, which is assembling the, and I did not do the greatest job on this circle, as you can see, but we'll just work with it. And it is fairly forgiving. At the end, you won't really notice it, or at least I don't think you will. We'll do some modifications. Okay, so I will set the scraps aside that we won't be using, the circles, and get out what we will, which is these lovely little circles. And I will put my dies back in real quick so things don't get lost. All right, so to make this circle, I just put them back together, but I found that it's better to actually have them upside down because we have to tape them together. And obviously, when we have the finished product, we do not want it to be showing. So I once again used some tear tape to do this part, and some other high-tack tape I also used on some of these. So I will turn over this part so you can kind of see what I did here. It was it's not too complicated, but again, you have to be kind of precise about things. This is probably the trickiest part, and even this, as you can see, isn't that bad. I just am going to go like that. And because I got that center circle a little bit off, we are going to strategically try to position it so that it comes out not too odd. Okay, I'm almost ready here to mark it off. And this is kind of a step that, again, isn't too difficult, but you do want to take your time and make sure that you get it halfway. All right, so again, I'm trying to make up for kind of what the problem I created. And I will just mark off here where I want to cut and add one more piece of tape so nothing comes loose when I cut it loose, as you'll see in a minute what I'm talking about. Okay, so this is one of my issues. I was cutting my tear tape too long, and I always seem to do this, but better too much than too little, I would say. Okay, so next I have an old Stampin' Up paper cutter, and I really love this thing because you can really get a clean, straight down cut. So I will be using this to show. So all I do here is just line it up, my line, and cut it. And there we have it. I will set this aside real quick. And here's the rainbow. So you can see this one came out a little bit bigger at the base, but it's not too bad. And you can never get it 100% tight, but I would suggest going in now and adding a little bit more tape here just to secure it. So moving on though, I will now show how I assembled this beautiful card. And we will have this tutorial completed in about 5 more minutes, I would say. Okay, so my pieces for the card I have largely assembled because, again, I wanted to focus on how to make that rainbow because I feel like that was what would be the most interesting part. So with the Whisper White, I took it, ran it through an embossing folder, this falling, snow falling. I always want to say falling snow, and then I sponged it with the Marina Mist ink. Okay, so sorry about the cat. She's very noisy and she wants attention all the time. What I did is I first started off with this Glimmer paper and attaching it, and I used this banner triple punch to create the banner edges. So next I will quickly put this on, and I hope I'm not getting my head in here too much. It's kind of hard to to avoid sometimes. Okay, so I put this down here, and the next step, what I did was add the rainbow. So I will quickly do that. And you can see I used some high-tech tape here. I just want to make sure nothing comes loose, and with the paper being embossed, it doesn't quite stick as well as flat paper. So I just have this rainbow at an angle. And the sentiment, I use the washi tape at the top, and I also use the birthday bouquet from Happy Birthday, which I embossed in gold. And I punched out with the pretty label punch. Okay, so I have gone ahead and put dimensionals on this, and I kind of wanted to show a little bit of, you know, kind of attach it to the rainbow. And this to me looks kind of like a cloud. And again, I don't have a cloud punch or die, so it kind of fills in. And again, this is all about trying to use what you have on hand and create something that looks the look you're going for. I've seen a lot of these similar cards to this on Pinterest, but most of them use that sunshine and rainbow die, stamp and die set. Okay, so here we have the card, and I think that it turns out it's really cute. Unfortunately, the set is retiring, so if you want to order, I would love to earn your business. You can email me at mewants3.com. Thank you for watching this tutorial, and happy stamping.